ADA to $500. Cardano ADA to be approved by Federal Reserve before the year ends. Cryptocurrency is one of the hottest investment options today, yet altcoins are not fully accepted by mainstream finance. Crypto enthusiasts and investors have always wondered why. More and more people seem comfortable investing in crypto coins like Cardano ADA. Even business pioneers like Elon Musk and Mark Cuban have thrown their weight behind cryptocurrencies. If further proof is needed, Walmart too is warming up to the idea of accepting coins like ADA. Now the Federal Reserve seems to have finally woken up and smelt the coffee. Today we're going to talk all about will Cardano ADA be approved by the Federal Reserve before this year ends. So watch this video till the end, because today's video is going to be the bomb. Welcome to Cardano Land, your daily dose of Cardano. If you're interested in everything around Cardano, this is the place for you. Subscribe if you want to stay updated with all the Cardano news, predictions, and stay one step ahead in the crypto world. Make sure to hit the like button for us to provide you with more Cardano news. Don't forget to enable all notifications to join our weekly cash giveaway pinned in the comments. Before we get to our topic, let's take a look at the chart and see what the price of ADA is doing on the 6th of November, shall we? This week, Cardano saw a major attempt to break above the descending triangle, but was swiftly rejected at the resistance at $2.1. The price was then pushed back to the support level just above $1.9. In the next few days, ADA seems likely to continue to bounce between these two key levels before a resolution is reached. As such, ADA's performance this week was weak, with almost no change in price compared to our last analysis. Because of this price action, ADA's indicators are looking rather flat on most timeframes. This is not an ideal situation for traders because profits are made in trending markets. When there's no trend in the market, trying to force one can lead to significant losses. Now let's get back to the topic. Federal Reserve to taper money printing that fueled Bitcoin bets. The $120 billion of monthly bond purchases has provided a tailwind for Bitcoin as investors see the cryptocurrency as a hedge against dollar debasement in the face of ultra-loose monetary policies. The U.S. Federal Reserve announced plans to taper its $120 billion a month in bond purchases, taking the first step towards winding down a post-coronavirus money printing program that has inspired many investors to buy Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. The Fed said Wednesday in a statement that it will reduce the pace of asset purchases by $15 billion a month starting this month. Purchases of U.S. Treasuries will drop to $70 billion a month from $80 billion, while purchases of government-backed mortgage securities will decline to $35 billion a month from $40 billion. Under the plan, the Fed will continue to wind down its purchases by $15 billion every month until the program concludes during the middle of next year. The committee judges that similar reductions in the pace of net asset purchases will likely be appropriate each month, but it is prepared to adjust the pace of purchases if warranted by changes in the economic outlook. The Fed's Monetary Policy Committee, known as the Federal Open Market Committee, or FOMC, said in the statement. The asset purchases, a form of stimulus funded by newly created money known as quantitative easing, or QE, have helped to more than double the size of the Fed's balance sheet since March 2020, to about $8.6 trillion as of last week. The U.S. Central Bank left interest rates unchanged at close to 0%, but a growing number of analysts in traditional markets are predicting the Fed might have to start hiking the benchmark rate to tamp down inflation at a time when U.S. consumer prices are rising at a clip not seen on a sustained basis in 3 decades. So if the Fed stays the course and tilts hawkish on inflation, Bitcoin might look incrementally less attractive as a hedge against dollar debasement, and the cryptocurrency's price could come under downward pressure similar to the predictions for the stock market. Bitcoin's price briefly dropped after the statement, but by press time was essentially unchanged around $62,300. The Fed's decision had been fully telegraphed by officials prior to the meeting, and thus may have been anticipated by the market. That's where we should start in discussing bullish sentiment around Cardano. The title alone clearly implies that digital assets are only going up from the current levels. That said, it's incredibly difficult to establish a strong position on digital assets. So when traditional titans of the finance world, like Bank of America, issue long bullish reports on digital assets, investors become more bullish in aggregate. While we believe that to certainly be the case, arguably more important news coming from Bank of America That news comes in the form of a 140-page report titled Digital Assets Primer, only the first inning. That's where we should start in discussing bullish sentiment around Cardano. The title alone clearly implies that digital assets are only going up from their current levels. That said, it's incredibly difficult to establish a strong position on digital assets. On the one hand, we've seen prices in pioneering digital assets, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, reach historic highs this year. And at the same time, we've also seen Bitcoin fall from $64,000 to $30,000 between May and July, only to rise back to $64,000 currently. That resurgence makes investors believe that digital assets aren't going anywhere, but far fewer investors were bullish in the early summer. So when traditional titans of the finance world, like Bank of America, issue long bullish reports on digital assets, investors become more bullish in aggregate. Cardano and Bank of America. That's exactly the takeaway investors should get from the report. More specifically, Cardano investors should take an extra measure of certainty. That's because Bank of America named Cardano specifically in the report. The report signals a sea change for Bank of America, which had prior focused on Bitcoin and little else in cryptocurrency. According to one source, Bank of America's attention was primarily focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures trading. However, its new report suggests that the bank is looking into all aspects of the digital assets industry. Digital assets that enable a platform to be built, like the Apple iPhone did for applications, are gaining the most value. The top three: Ether, Cardano, and Binance Chain. That's right, Bank of America indicated that Cardano is a specific cryptocurrency that it's watching. As noted, the bullishness is predicated on the fact that Cardano is a platform upon which multiple digital assets can be built. Cardano's utility in building decentralized apps is precisely the reason it's mentioned alongside Ethereum. The other thing to note here is the rate of increase in value of those two assets. Cardano has long been noted as an Ethereum competitor. Many pundits believe that Cardano is quickly gaining on Ethereum and may someday overtake it. It's clear that Cardano's growth is outpacing that of Ethereum, lending some credence to the idea that it will erode ETH's position. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. Also, we would like to mention that this is not a channel intended specifically to provide financial advice, and we do not ask you to invest in any company. This is merely a channel directed towards bringing educational content to your doorsteps. With that in mind, before you invest in anything, we recommend you do thorough, wide-spectrum research on the topic. And make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time on Cardano Land. Bye!